Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I have some updates from around the land of smiles for you today from the Thaiger and ASEAN News this Wednesday, May 29th.
This ad is brought to you by Carzuno, the easiest way to lease a brand new car in Thailand.
Now we're going to get started with our first story that takes us back to Pattaya, and the original story that happened earlier this week that involved a violent altercation between British tourists and Thai security guards. So after the rumors run wild, the full backstory of the brutal attack in Pattaya comes to light. Now, 3 British men were brutally attacked in Pattaya on May 24th outside the helicopter bar over a disputed bar bill. The conflict began when a bar hostess informed them of an outstanding bill, leading to a violent confrontation with the bar security staff, even after the men paid. Now, CCTV footage shows a guard kicking one man unconscious. However, subsequent footage revealed all 3 Brits managed to walk away from the incident despite rumors of more severe injuries. Pattaya police have not detained the guards, stating that they need an official complaint from the victims to proceed. The guard expressed regret for his actions while the bar remains silent. Police continue to seek the victims and review CCTV footage. So the rumor mills were flying after this story because, well, the soccer kick, the run-up soccer kick was so brutal, and there were users on Reddit claiming to have inside information that the man who had been kicked had actually died in hospital. So many people were taking that at its word. I was suspicious because obviously that head kick is the kind of head kick that could lead to a fatality. However, it did appear that everybody walked away relatively unscathed. That managed to walk away from the incident is the key word there. However, the intro to the footage shows the Brits acting very aggressively, and the man who did perform the soccer kick had a bloodied nose, so he had experienced violence on his own right, so you can understand a bit of the heat of the moment. However, you cannot excuse the action that could have led to severe injury. For now, it seems like the story is dead, but we'll keep you updated if anything does come to light or if those Brits do come forward to file a formal complaint. Now, moving on to another violent bar altercation in Pattaya, as a British national is now in custody after a fatal altercation with a Russian. Now, a young British man, Ricky Aaron Williams, was detained in Pattaya after fatally punching a Russian man, Igor Yassilev, at a pool party. The altercation occurred after Yassilev allegedly made sexual advances towards Williams' wife. Now, Yassilev fell and hit his head after being punched, later dying from his injuries at a hospital. Williams was arrested at his home and is in police custody for further interrogation. He has expressed regrets for his action and apologized. However, an apology is not going to be good enough when the man is dead. Look, the Russian guy was behaving in an untoward way towards the man, and this is what we call almost could be considered an honor situation where the man felt his wife's integrity was at play, and you know, I'm assuming throwing a punch you don't expect to end up killing a guy, but that is an unfortunate possible outcome, especially when alcohol is involved. You know, all it takes is one head crack on the pavement, and that's exactly what happened. So now this British man's life is going to be altered forever. The Russian will not be able to make advances anymore, and all in all, a tragic story. So a warning to everybody: if you feel the blood boiling and the tensions rising, violence is never the answer, because you could alter your life for forever. And I'm sure that this British man regrets his actions, but we'll see what the consequences for them will be. Now, more tragedy coming out of Pattaya, as an Austrian man was found drowned at his Pattaya pool. Now, a 74-year-old Austrian man, Eichmann Johann, drowned at a condominium pool in Pattaya's Naklua area on May 27th. Security personnel found Johann's body and attempted CPR, but he had been submerged for too long. His 53-year-old wife, Varenya, and their 19-year-old daughter were present and distraught. Now, Johann, an avid swimmer, regularly swam alone. When he didn't return on time, his wife found him drowned. Security guard Kun Kosin discovered Johann's body floating in the pool, and police are investigating, and the body will undergo further examination to determine the exact cause of death. This is another sad one. Swimming alone at an advanced age is, you know, it's something we get built into these habits, right? There are things that we enjoy to do by ourselves, and this is something that concerns me. I actually, I hang out with a lot of men in their 70s because they're good drinking buddies, and this kind of stuff scares me to death because it just takes one little incident because you have this history, you have this brain that thinks of yourself as still a young man, but the health problems compound as you get older. Don't know exactly what the cause of death is. Could be some cardiac incident. It could be, just exhaustion. However, now his wife and daughter are without their husband and father, and might have been able to be prevented if he was, not alone. So be careful out there, especially if you have some underlying heart conditions when attempting to swim or exercise on your own. Now, we'll move on to another story, yet another one coming out of Pattaya, as heartstrings are being pulled by a Russian father fleeing conscription with his young children. Now, a local apartment owner in Pattaya sought help from Thai authorities for a Russian man and his 2 daughters who fled the Russia-Ukraine conflict and overstayed their visas. Facing financial difficulties, the family received food and support from the apartment owner, who was concerned about their well-being and the father's mental health. The father explained he left Russia to avoid conscription, fearing for his children's futures. Authorities provided financial aid and took the daughters to a shelter, while the father faced legal proceedings. Both are expected to be deported back to Russia soon. That is the daughters. Unclear what will happen in the father's fate, but this is a scary story. It's something that I can't really fathom. Now, as an American, I've seen my country go through armed conflicts, and I've felt nervous for the people that I knew in the military. However, I was never forced into it, and this is something that many Russian nationals are facing right now, conscription. Anybody who is in that age range is eligible, and that could ultimately spell doom for whoever is in that position. So it makes sense seeing Russians trying to escape and try to overstay their visas and just make sure that they and their family can live a safe and happy life. So, God willing, the conflict in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, will come to a swift and speedy end. But as there is no end in sight for it, this kind of behavior can be expected to escalate, and we might see many more Russians fleeing to the land of smiles in order to avoid that fate of conscription. Okay, I promise. I'm done for the sad news, guys. We're going to move on to some happier news that is regarding the tourism industry here in Thailand, which is, of course, one of the biggest topics for the entire nation every single day, every week, every month, every year. And it turns out through the first half of 2024, Thailand's tourism has boomed significantly. Thailand has welcomed 14.3 million international tourists in the first 5 months of the year, generating nearly 680 billion baht, or 18.7 billion US dollars. Now, key sources of tourists were China with 2.9 million, Malaysia with 1.9 million, Russia with over 800,000, India also with over 800,000, and South Korea with 785,000. Notably, tourists from Malaysia surged by 44.9% from the previous week. On average, 85,000 tourists arrive daily, with numbers expected to rise due to public holidays and eased travel measures, including visa waivers for China, India, Taiwan, and Kazakhstan. This growth highlights Thailand's strategic efforts to boost its tourism sector. Yeah, this is big news. We just went and covered the Taifex Anuga 2024 yesterday, which is a big hospitality convention that focuses on food and beverage industries, and it's one of the largest gatherings of its kind in the world. So it makes sense that it's here in Bangkok, where hospitality is king. That is absolutely one of the most important sectors of this economy, and food and beverage is a big part of that. So people are coming from all over the world, not to just experience the Thai culture, which is obviously lovely, but hundreds of thousands of people are coming to open up new businesses that represent their part of the world as well, making Thailand a very popular spot for international tourism. Bangkok has a lot to offer, and that's what I love about it, and hopefully I think more and more people are seeing that light as well. So we can see the tourism sector booming, and that will be bringing a lot of money into the land of smiles. And finally, got some good news for anybody who is a farang or foreign visitor coming to the land of smiles, because significant changes are being made to Thailand's visa policies in order to support that tourism. So starting June 1st, Thailand introduces several new visa initiatives to attract more tourists. Key changes include expanding visa-free entry from 57 to 93 countries, extending stays to 60 days, and increasing visa-on-arrival countries from 19 to 31. New 5-year visas for digital nomads, remote workers, and those interested in Muay Thai and Thai cuisine allow stays up to 180 days, extendable for another 180. Foreign graduates can now stay a year post-graduation to job search. Now, health insurance requirements for retirees are reduced from 3 million to only 440,000 baht, effective in September to December. E-visa services will also expand from 47 to 94 locations. Whoa. Them some big changes, man. Wow, the expansion, it's almost doubling the amount of countries that are available to come without visa requirements before applying. If that doesn't lead to a boom, I really don't know what is. So, of course, our previous story talked about already setting big numbers for tourism. The second half is going to look to be a lot bigger, especially with initiatives like this coming out. So congratulations, anybody who wants to be coming to the land of smiles. Looks like things are about to get a lot easier. All right. Well, that'll do it for our news from around Thailand, from the Thaiger. I see you guys very active in the chat section, so I'm going to go back and check and see what you guys think and make about all of those stories. A lot of controversial ones. But before we do, I'm going to finish up with our stories from around the ASEAN region. Starting with, we're going to go to Malaysia. Now, Malaysia is looking to become the semiconductor hub in Southeast Asia, as they aim to attract 500 billion ringgit, or about $107 billion, in investments for its semiconductor sector, focusing on integrated circuit design, advanced packaging, and semiconductor chip manufacturing equipment. The country, which contributes 13% of global testing and packaging, has seen significant investments from major firms like Intel and Infineon. Now, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim announced plans to establish at least 10 local companies in chip design and packaging, with projected revenues between $210 million and $1 billion. The government will allocate $5.3 billion in fiscal support and other incentives to attract global tech companies. Malaysia's strategy includes moving into high-value front-end design work and building Southeast Asia's largest integrated circuit design park. Yeah, big news. Obviously, one of the big stories that comes out of East Asia is obviously Taiwan, which is the global leading semiconductor producer. Their manufacturing is bar none the best in the world. However, there's a lot of controversy around Taiwan, particularly with its relationship with China, which makes investors nervous, which makes them look for alternative solutions. And it seems like Malaysia is becoming that hub that the world is looking for. You know, stability, I guess it's relative, but at the end of the day, this is billions of dollars coming in for this purpose, and we'll see if Malaysia can, I don't know, pull ahead maybe in terms of its semiconductor production. Now, still some tech news. Moving on to our next story, which takes us to Indonesia, because apparently that country has way too many apps developed by the state. That's right, Indonesian President Joko Widodo has ordered a halt to developing new government applications due to the current sprawl of 27,000 apps, which are costly and inefficient. Now, this year, about $386 million was requested for new app development, but the president emphasized the need for integrated applications and data to streamline services. INA Digital, a new platform launching in September, aims to consolidate government services into 9 areas, including health, education, and digital identity. This initiative, managed by GovTech, seeks to provide citizens with a single login for accessing all government services. 27,000 apps. It seems like a bit much. This is one of those things that feels like, bureaucratic. We call it pork barrel spending in America, where, you can justify the spending because it's for a government service. However, the inefficiencies make it insane and unnecessary. So this is tons of government spending that's sort of just being money thrown onto a bonfire, and the president has stepped in to halt any new development because it's just obscene. I mean, imagine that, 27,000 apps. It's like if you want to access all of Indonesia's government services, you're going to need a lot of space on your iPhone. It's probably going to take up all 256 GBs of that. So interesting story coming out of there. We'll see how that gets consolidated. And now our final story, which takes us over to the Philippines, and we have some interesting political news. Now, several police officers have been fired amid coup concerns in the Philippines. So the Philippine President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has removed 35 pro-Duterte police officers amid coup concerns. Key among those removed was Davao City Police Chief Richard Badang. These officers are under investigation for the deaths of 7 drug suspects following Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte's drug war declaration. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV suggests this preemptive action relates to an imminent ICC arrest warrant for ex-President Duterte. The Duterte family is allegedly planning to destabilize Marcos Jr.'s government, aiming to replace him with Vice President Sara Duterte Carpio. Now, Marcos Jr. has warned the military about attempts to destabilize his administration. Pretty shocking stuff. Now, you'll notice that most of the people in that story that were pro-Duterte had the last name Duterte in it. Seems like that family still has significant political pull in the Philippines, especially following Duterte's presidency, where there was a significant number of extrajudicial killings of drug suspects. Now, of course, due process is something that we expect in democracies around the world, and it is something that Duterte became famous for eschewing, and leading to several deaths, or hundreds, if not thousands, of drug suspects in the country. Now, of course, not all of these were proven to be drug suspects and instead were killed without any sort of due process. Ferdinand Marcos, smelling blood in the water, has removed several key players from positions of power in order to stave off these influences. So something to keep your eye on. If you're interested in Philippines politics, it seems like there's a lot of things going on behind closed doors, and we'll see what the backroom dealings look like, especially as rumors of the ICC arrest warrant for ex-President Duterte continue to fly. All right, well, that'll do it for our news updates from around ASEAN. And yeah, thank you guys very much. You can always check out for more news updates and stay up to date on all things Thailand and ASEAN by going to thethaiger.com or ASEANnow.com, where you can also get engaged in the conversation and see what people have to say about this area of the world. We'll be back with you tomorrow with more updates. And for now, I'll get into the comments and have a little chat.
This ad is brought to you by Carzuno, the easiest way to lease a brand new car in Thailand.